Yes, bing bong. There we go. Hey, Christopher, I have a good idea for a one-page comic. Where can I tell someone else? Here. You can tell us here. Hi, everybody. I hope that people have had a good weekend. I did. We had a great time. We went for a bike ride. Very, very exciting to be able to go for a bike ride. And, I had a good time doing that. It wasn't a very big one, but we wanted to test out the bikes. We got our bikes all put together, and off we went. You know what that means? We're going to ride across the country. Okay, maybe not. But our bikes work. So, yeah. Okay, so this week ends. This is a page that I was working on Friday. So, this was Friday's page as it was posted from the evening before. So the page that I started working on Friday with the 3 prompts from D.D. Willingham's Bag o' Prompts is right here. The prompts were emu, manta ray. I have to think about that for a second. Emu, manta ray, and comic character of my choice. Yes. So I went with Marvin the Martian. This one would do. So this was a fun one. The whole point of one-page comics is a lot of people think it needs to be just a whole story encapsulated in one page, and it can be. There's nothing to say it can't. There's no rules. I'm always telling you that the rules are made to be. Rules out there are made to be defied, and anybody tells you that rules are hard and fast, they're not trying hard enough. They're not thinking hard enough, because there's certain things that we have to do when it comes to the restraints of things. You know what I mean, like medium or the surface we're working on, or there's the physical restraints, but when it comes to the actual page, it's important that we push those boundaries. And so with story, we're not talking about an entire short story here. We're not talking about the entirety of every question you might have had about Dune is encapsulated in one page. It's not going to work. Simply not going to work. So so the best show for big birds bar none is a page where it's just 3 astronauts, one of which happens to be an emu, watching a cartoon while they're in space. That's it. I don't even get too caught up in the environment behind them on the ship, but by the second and the 6th panel having a bit different tonal background than the rest of them, that identifiably sets it as to be separate. That's what's going on in the ship. But the stars around there is just to bring you in, to draw you in. So, anyways, it was a lot of fun. This was a good fun page to do. And then what I told my wife is probably at some point in time going to be my most famous page to do, because it's the silliest thing I've ever done. So this is it. This is, again, the narrative is encapsulated in the visual aspect, and the faces were just the whole idea of how I approached this was I set the story in the first panel, and then I proceed to illustrate through the remaining panels, which is why the letters are, the only way I could have encapsulated those letters more would be if I embossed them in behind the figures, which I had tried to do. But the problem with that is you can't see the letters. So I had to figure out a way in order to embed them into the environment of the portraits without completely losing them. And so that was by having them basically behind the portraits that are in the foreground. So, and it defies some logic there, because if it was truly following that pretense, the guy in the bottom left, the second panel across, the top of his head would be in there if he was really in front of the words. But if I did that, you couldn't tell it was an A. So those are the little things. So it carries you across illustratively to the final punchline textually. So again, it's just another approach of trying to look at, assess story, and to get it down in a quick and easy way, and so that the viewer can look at this and walk through the page with their eyes, try to pick up, hopefully, on the fact that these people are all laughing and giggling and carrying on to the final result. And the final result is you may well just laugh as well yourself. So, and then this page is, again, trying different styles and different approaches. The lino cut that I made for a stamp swap that I took part in this year, well, the lino cut that I made for that is the second last panel across of the apes, and so no, I'm sorry, it's the last panel in the row of apes. So that panel was the test pages that I stamped those on are what the previous 4 panels are, and with modifications after the fact. So because I'm trying to pull up, they were unsuccessful to start with because I was learning about inking and stamping because I hadn't done this since high school. So that was a while ago. So I did this with my grandkids, and we had some fun. But these were the extras. These were our testers. So we figured out a way to incorporate those in. Now, the Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon man, I guess he's more Cro-Magnon than he is Neanderthal, is an image I put in the foreground, but that was drawn on a separate piece of paper entirely, cut out, bossed down, right, layer down over top of the apes in the background. Now I moved those around too, so that when I put the person before them, then the right ones were still visible to see, and so I didn't cover up the things that I thought were maybe more successful iterations of those stamped images. So he went there, and then the final, of course, then the title at the top, scanned from a book cover of just humans, was just one word. It's a humans in, and it's a much longer title. But I scanned that, turn that into a piece of text to put down here. The final thing I did was I scanned a page out of my sketchbook. I converted it to black and white only, black line only, and removed the white background from my sketchbook. And then I cut and chopped and edited that around to put a couple of the pieces up in the title, and then a couple of the pieces that are around our foreground character to emulate the fact that, we're still argumentative, conflicting, disagreeable monkeys. So, and then, I posted that this morning, and then finished that this morning, and then I did another page that I'll be doing something with. So, yeah, all in all, the last few days, good sense of getting some stuff done here. And but Fart Joke is drawing all kinds of little portraits off the cover of the facial expressions book that I picked up just to try to find happy. So I got those put in, and I've got some of these other pages done too. I really enjoyed doing it. The 3 prompts one of getting to draw ridiculous emu and ridiculous cartoon characters. That's some fun in the sun. So, all things said and done, good feelings. Good feelings. Oh, just me. Now I got Velvet Underground stuck in my head. Okay, I got the book out. So, having the book out, also big dramatic moment this morning. One of my cameras just burnt out. I found that out the hard way. By 10 minutes before coming on the stream, I had to reset everything. So instead of having a guest camera now, I have an only camera now. Okay, so today's page, because I haven't done one in a little bit. Oh, Chris got some pencil crayons. So today's page is a pencil crayon page. All right. Just because I want to. I'm clearing out my camera just a second. Okay, so yeah, gather, that's fine there. So I am listening to sappy music from the 80s. Right now it's Faithfully by Journey. And it's all I can do not to go as I'm listening to it. If you've ever seen it, you'll know what I mean, what that reference is towards. Well, I can't. Is it Separate Lives? I think it's a Separate Lives video where it might be the stupidest music video I've ever seen. And there's been some stupid music video, that I've ever seen. Let me make a correction to that, because I'm sure there are some incredibly stupid videos coming out right now, because that seems to be the tone of the day. So the cartoon character Manta Ray Emu, I'm going to check it off out of the book. Design. Bingo. So that's checked off the page. I have to do this with it because I've got addresses. Whoops. I should do this with it. That's why I got the post-it here. Because I got addresses on here. This week in the mail, I might be getting some. Well, Didi said she mailed them, so I will be at some point getting some. A lemur sticker. And so when that comes in, I'm going to do this 3-prompt page of sushi, submarine, lemur, and we'll get that one done. Now I'm thinking of the tubes. Sushi. Anyways, So I've got a couple of ridiculous ones in front of me. Some more have come in this week. There's a lot of fun in the sun there, and I appreciate some of these suggestions. They are very interesting. And, so Midnight Diner is done. Jockey is done. Those are last week's. And a snowflake with hands on every arm, I think we'll do this week. What color have I got? Oh, it's color 39. Ridiculous set of pencilgrams. I can't tell you the name of any of the colors I'm using. Snowflake with hands on every arm is from the Crumblinator. Do geese see God? Is one suggested by somebody called Palindrome, which is incredibly appropriate. Write the sentence down and then reverse it. You'll see what I mean. So, that's good fun. And then I got Scribbles and Doodles. Okay, so do geese see God? Maybe we'll do this one. Just let me go back a little bit, make sure I'm not really being derelict. I'm leaving some 80s action Miami's Vice comic. Bicycles stacked up against spiral staircases. Bicycles on roller coasters. I could do any of those. Anybody want it? Oh, you know what? Let's get into this. Maybe I'll bump. Okay, tomorrow. Tell you what. I'll make a deal with you. Just you and I, one-on-one. For how many people are here? If anybody's here. Tomorrow I'll do, in 500 years' time, another 11 by 17 with our science character. And we'll do that. I've got 2 to choose from. It'll be Earth is flooded with a diverse array of useless creatures that have been brought back genetically, or in 500 years we'll have finally figured out what came first, the chicken or the egg. So that could be fun too. Okay, in the meantime, let's stick with the first choice we did today. Do geese see God? And now that I've decided that, boy oh boy, we're off to the races. Okay. Tonight for me is the Comic Jam. What's the Comic Jam, Chris? Man, am I glad you asked me that. The Comic Jam that we do in London is where, what color are you? You'll do. Do geese see God? I'll write it down and post it and stick it down on the thing so that people know what the world is going on. Do geese see God? Question mark. Okay, and this was suggested by Palindrome. which is spelled incorrectly, but it's a funny joke. So there we are. That way, anybody that jumps in will know what in the world is he doing. I'm going to put my book in the bag so I don't forget that. Yeah, I packed up already because soon after the stream, I actually have to go downtown today to do the comic jam. So I know, isn't that special? All right. So I got this guy sharpened. I think it's a gray. I think it is. We'll find out the hard way. Yeah, so being Canadian, guess which kind of geese I'm doing? So, yeah, we'll just get cracking and start from there. So my debate is, do I start with I want to do a nice little sort of thing embedded in the title. So do I start with just a geese or do I start with an overhead bunch of geese flying by? Because that could be fun too, right? So why don't we do that? Why don't we do a number of geese flying overhead? So, you know, why not? Why not? Oh, this is kind of a fun gray. I hope that's showing up for people. I'll move this over. I'm trying to sort out the light situation, but like I said, I just had that one bank go, so and that interfered with both my camera. My own camera was fizzled out, and I think we got, I don't know what's going on with it, but it's not working. And then I don't have my one light set up right now, so we'll get there. We'll get it all back together. I have to have that done for Wednesday, because Wednesday we've got a special event going on, and I'll let you know more about that as we get going here. Okay, so putting in some geese, moving as a flock, and altering the angle of their flight patterns as they go, as they follow currents, which is what they do. Found a crazy little nickel image like I usually do, and off we go. So I thought that by the first panel, I would put in an image that is simplistic enough and yet identifiable enough that it can be used to embed the title with, right? Title of the page with. You gotta keep it fun. Keep it fun, keep it sassy. So while they're just kind of random shapes, hopefully the right viewer sees them and goes, hey, ain't those some geese? You got some geese there going on there, pal. That's my hope, anyways. So this is hopefully how we can start seeing the movement, the panel of geese flying around, flapping. Flapping away there. A bunch of geese there, flapping around. So I'm gonna not draw the last one in because I want this panel to end here. So I will put a couple of other geese in the background here as though they're trying to join up in the formation. So it's always some stragglers. Always. Oh, good. Happy. Right, let me get big long stretch. All right, so So I'm going to get a case on this image here. So it says on the post-it, "Do geese see God?" Huh. So big fun thing for me is that my the old grandbabies may well be coming with me tonight. So I'm kind of keen about that one. We'll see how that goes. They're fun. All right, so that's a light gray pencil that I'm using. So I'm just putting in the panels that will be going down. Now I'm grabbing a couple of random colors that I'm just picking out here. It's this isn't a pencil set that has big labels on it. This is a pencil set that there's a color band at the bottom. That's all you're gonna find out when it comes to knowing what your pencils actually are. So it's okay. That's okay. We don't mind. All right. So yeah, I'm plugging away. Just looking for. Yeah, you'll do. All right. So I got a few colors I've picked out. I think maybe I need like a. There we go. Nice dark purple. Oh, this is ugly purple. The problem with these pencil crayons, the one complaint I will have about them is that I don't know that the color that is on the band at the bottom is necessarily the color of the pencil. But, you do what you can. Oh, sorry. Philip. Hello, Philip. Welcome. I'm crowd today. Thanks, Philip. All right, so just putting in some shapes in the sky in the background. I'm too concerned or overly worried about. I just want to sort of put some stuff in the background of the image just to give it a little bit of what's this Philip saying? Everyone's still in bed. Josh had a 6+ hour stream overnight. That's nuts. Is Josh okay? I wonder if he went into work after that. I'm leaning towards probably not. It's tough. It's tough. People doing crazy long time streams. Some people have a real affinity for it, but I don't. Got stuff to do. So I'm using this light gray or light purple to put down the sort of shapes of what I'm defining for this random cloud business. Just to give something interesting and a little more motion, a little more movement for what the birds are doing. And to give a little bit of a kind of a celestial idea to it as we're talking about, this page is talking about some heady ideas. So, which is all well and good and fine. Now, if you're a cloud aficionado and you're sitting there going, "Oh, what kind of clouds are those? Because they look like a this, but they could be a that." I don't know. Just doing some clouds, folks. On our dual, do geese, the birds, the geese sing God. So, just getting our shapes in. the page that I drew this morning, I was really, really loose on this page. And so there's a part of me for the page that I'm doing this afternoon here in the stream, because I'm using a very different medium. I got to tighten it up a little bit, but there's still this part of me that's just ready to just swing around and do whatever. Make some crazy marks. Swing for the fences. So we got some regurple in here. And again, all of this investment is not entirely that necessary, because, like I said earlier, I'm going over this with the title. So I don't know how much I really need to be overly concerned about it all. Yeah. There you are. Side. There we go. That's the guy I wanted. So tonight's Comic Jam is going to be a lot of fun. I've got 5 people in my van that are going. Just how it's worked out this month. Normally I just meet everybody there, but yeah, no, there'll be 5 people in my van going. It's my grandkids. My 2 oldest grandkids are coming with me, which is very dramatic. It's one thing to do an event like this. It's one thing to have that opportunity to go out and engage with others in this process, but it's another thing when you're monitoring and watching kids, because it's sort of, your attention is always a little unfocused, right? And that's fine. I got no problem with that, because I'm pretty good at balancing lots of things going on at once. I mean, there's the kids and the job for years, and you get used to it all. But it's exciting for them. It's big for them, because they kind of wanted to go. They've expressed it a few times in the last few years, but just everything was just getting back on its feet after COVID and all that jazz. So I was kind of just holding off a little bit. But now I'm old enough that I don't have to constantly wipe their nose. So, which is nice. There's about enough of this nose wiping industry. It's past. So I'm throwing down some of these blue elements into the sky, these crazy clouds. I'm also going to throw orange in here, because it's a crazy night sky, right? It's a very yellow orange. It's just very yellow. That's all right. That's okay. We're going to be fine. Everything will be okay. Let's get a better orange. There we go. Get in there, Bippy. And then I'll come back in and I'll just build up the birds a little bit more. I'm trying to pay attention to the stream here to here. Just right after I say, I'm good at juggling things, lots of different things at the same time. And I'm like, oh, I forgot to look at the stream. Hope everybody's out there doing things that they want to do and working on some stuff. And If you do, for anybody that might be tuning in today, if you do, or whenever, have an opportunity to join an artistic jam of some kind, whether it's a comic jam or a painting jam or whatever kind of jam suits your fancy, um, do so. It's a great opportunity to further yourself and to grow and to draw things outside of the comfort zone that you might normally be working in. And if you can do that, if you can find that chance, that group, it'll help you grow creatively. It can only help you grow, really. There's very few instances if I ever heard anybody say, "Stupid comic jam, learning to draw a weasel." Any of those chances to further yourself, why not, right? It is a challenge, though, because you've got to follow the contextual narrative of the person in front of you. Let them draw the first bit, and you follow on the second bit. That's the whole idea of a jam. Other people think that jam is just sitting there, each of you working on your own thing. And I've always argued that that's not necessarily a jam because you're not engaging and interacting with each other. And, with that in mind, right? Where's that going? Like it's a different headspace for sure. But with that in mind, like you want to figure out some, like a quilting bee, that's a jam. That's jamming together and making blankets, right? Stamp swamps, that's a type of jam, is that everybody's engaging with each other's stamps. I'm going to be trying to incorporate a lot of the stamp elements into a page this week that I got from the stamp swamp that I took part in this year. So that I'm looking forward to that, I feel like I need another bird right here. Okay. So, if you find those opportunities, take them. I wrote down that the discussion topic today of if you're hunting for that perfect image, don't. Talking to somebody recently, they sent me some messages, including a number of their pages. And every page came with, and I've talked to them about being able to talk about this. So, every page came with a little textual piece. I know this one is this and that and this, and it's not perfect yet, but I'm going to rework this whole thing because I really want it to be this and I want it to be that. And so that's my anxiety and my neuroses is holding me up from, the finishing that off. I just got to, as soon as I can draw better. It was just this whole process of dissembling themselves in the page. So they're presenting the page and at the same time denigrating their own work because they're not just recognizing that, hey, you did the drawing, you drew it, that's great, move on. That this whole thing about striving for that perfect image, or if it's not perfect, we really want people to know that we know it's not perfect, blah 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 blah. It doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't give you any additional assessment out there in the world. Like people aren't going to look at your work and say, "Oh, well, I know he's going to be doing this better and that better." They're just looking at it. It's just an image. It's just a thing. If you're telling a story with this, yeah, you'll get better over time with whatever you're doing. I'm the same way. Like one day I'll fly like an eagle. Whatever it is, it's things will work out and come together in whatever way they do. When it comes to image telling, as I do, I'm far better now than I was a year ago. And a year from now, I hope to be far better now than I am now. And I'll learn new things as I go, and I will use new tools as I go in moderation. Because the other flip side of that is you learn too many tools and you don't get anything done. But this whole talking down what it is you're doing now because you're not proficient enough in A, B, C, D, E is it's self-defeating. You're not going to find your perfect images the moment you step out the day. Even when you see a horse being born, it doesn't run around like a crazy horse. Things that don't even stand on its legs. And there's always going to be things that I'm drawing this for the first time. Don't expect it to be perfect. Well, Bob's was perfect. Well, so what? It's Bob, right? And I have to talk like this at the streams. I'm so sorry. At the jam tonight, because we get all ages events, so we get some younger people, and there's always that. Oh, I can't really draw. Just don't look at mine. It's stupid. Well, So what do you think that everyone's expecting of you, right? Nobody's expecting their pages to be perfect. Nobody's expecting a 45-year-old whatever guy to be perfect. Like it doesn't matter. That'll come together as it comes together, and there we all go. But it's not going to happen unless you give it a try. Am I missing stuff? Joshua Kemble, hey, listen, Crumble. What's with you having a 23-hour stream yesterday? I woke up at 5:30 this morning, Ontario time, and I looked at my phone, and Josh was still streaming, which means I don't know what. I couldn't do the math at the time. Let's be honest. 2:30 in the morning. That's a long stream, fella. More coming tonight, he says. Morning. It's now morning, buddy. More coming tonight. Oh my gosh. Phil says he lives. Yeah, we got him. We found him. He's alive. How long was that stream for? 6+ hours, apparently. Good heavens. Sounds to me like somebody was working towards due dates. Usually you'll see that when people are doing crazy sessions where they're sitting down and working, and sometimes it's got to do with due dates. I've had those sessions where just before it's time to do a thing, I'm sitting here plunking away at it the last minute. Let's see if we have anything in this. Oh, that did not work out. Oh my gosh, I'm listening to Space Truck. I haven't heard this since I was a kid. Oh, that's very nice of you, Josh. Thanks, Bill. So our page today is oh, that's super cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Today's page is Do Geese See God? And this was suggested to me by somebody named Palindrome. And if you catch the inside joke of their name and their suggestion, I appreciate you. Malcolm says, I dropped some blank sketchbooks at TAP earlier this week if the jammers need one and they're still there. Hey, that's super cool of you, Malcolm. Yeah, I'm sure that at the desk they'll let me know if there's any available that anybody can use. We get a lot of young people at the jam, and so resources are always a challenge for them. They're just sort of starting out, or they're just economically they've only got so much money. Young college kids and the like, and boy, that's really nice of you. Let's go space trucking. So I'm just playing with some shapes behind the birds, and then I'm going to, allow hopefully from the, I wish I had my lighting better. I can't, my one bulb is gone completely. So, I just want to move the viewer's eye around a little bit in the clouds. But like I said earlier, I'm spending more time on this panel than I really need to be, because this panel is going to be covered up by the text, the title of the page. Do geese see God? Yeah. Crazy fun title. Crazy fun suggestion. Okay. I got Wade over my hand. That's why you always leave a note. Okay, so just gonna clean my brush off. Come on. Let's go space trucking. That is a fun little brush. Okay, so Malcolm says, I had too many. Well, that's, again, super cool to you. Like I was saying, there's a lot of people that might not have that opportunity to... this is my palette so far. I'm going to hold that up to the camera. A dark brown, a dark blue, a purple, an orange, a yellow, and a gray. Some people don't have that opportunity to be able to accommodate some of the things that they need for pursuing their interest, their creative interest. So, like, yeah, doing that for them. Okay, so I'm drawing in a geese now, and gonna get him down. Canadian geese, that's what I'm going for here. Why? I don't know. I'll give you a few minutes to figure it out. Okay, so I'm drawing everything in the gray. And then I'm going to put some green down in the background. Now, I'm not overly worried about bleeding over the panel edge here, because I know I'm going to clean that up in post, right? So a couple fun things this week for anybody that's here still. On Wednesday, special event on Wednesday. So anybody that tunes into the stream, I hope is the first half of the stream. One of our regular people that tune into this is an educator in Mexico, and they're going to be streaming as we have our usual chats. They're going to be streaming to their students, and the students are going to engage in some conversation about creativity in our daily lives. So Joshua says, I had a prompt idea on stream last night. Did you do the prompt on the stream last night? Did you do that, or did you come up with one on the stream last night? Or did somebody try to come up with something for you to do? Hey, Josh, you should draw this. Yeah, I want to draw what I want. That, or however you responded. Did you do this last night, Josh? Art school fight where art students use supplies as weapons in an epic royal battle. That's great. Nope, it's for you, LOL. Oh my gosh. Is this from you, or is this from somebody else in your stream? I gotta write it down. Hold on. Where's the book? Where's the book? Right now I'm listening to the Yeah, Yeah, Yes. Okay. Art school fight where art students use supplies. When I was at BL Art, when I was in high school, it was the supply cabinet. Dun, dun, dun. And I used to love watching that thing be open. I'm like, oh, look at all the art supplies. Because I'd never really gone to an art supply store when I went to BL Art. A lot of my art supplies growing up were bought really inexpensively because of economics. So when I used to see that, so I'm going to write this down as Kremlinator and Friends. So when I see that, I think, wow, look at all the paint. Cheap paint. Woo woo. Yep, there it is. We got it down in the book at the bottom here. I wrote it as Kremlinator and Friends. I should have wrote it as Kremlinator and Kremlins. Nope, it's for you. Thank you very much, sir. It was in a conversation. I think most of us artists have thought about which art supplies would make good weapons in a zombie apocalypse. Yeah. How many times do you, as a person, look at whatever arbitrary object you've just picked up in your hands and go, this could be used as a weapon? And zombies? Yeah, this will work. This here will work. I can't tell you how many things I picked up and went, check the weight of. Could I crack somebody in the noggin with this? I think I could. I think I'd try. So I'm doing the feather layering that Canadian geese have. And much like shingles on a house, the feathers overlap one another, right? And so that the water goes off of their backs. I'm sure that's a weird way to refer to it, but, that's the gist of it. And then, of course, they get larger as they go. And then there's a wonderful thing about, turkey, like when you have a turkey or whatever, and there's the breast on the other side, well, the feathers are connected in the back like that too. So I've got the brown here going through the whole bird, not because it's a brown bird, but because I would prefer not to use black, and largely when I'm using pencil crayons. And there's very specific times that I will, of course, but I prefer not to. And the reason behind that is that I want to build that black up. And you can do that with a nice brown and a nice deep blue, and you'll start to get a really sweet little charcoal-y color. And if you do that, layer that a couple times, and it deepens and deepens. It's all about how much working the paper can take, really. Yeah, that was probably a fun conversation about zombie apocalypses that they had, Josh, on your stream last night. As if you've ever read Max Brooks, I talked about Max Brooks with somebody earlier today. If you've ever read Max Brooks' World War Z, not the film, but the book, there's an awful lot of dialogue about what is and is not a successful thing to utilize in a zombie apocalypse. And I thought that was really insightful for me. The problem with that is that I find that after having read about people assessing whatever things that they would discover as they're foraging and hunting around in this new world they're in, there's certain things that I'll look at and go, yeah, weapon. The worst part about a zombie apocalypse, and this is my ridiculous sideways perspective as per usual. I think the worst thing about a zombie apocalypse is how many people are going to be hurt, or even worse, dispatched because of misunderstandings. Somebody like me who always has, a cold nose because being diabetic, I'm going to get creamed in pretty quick on if people start looking at that as the potential of infection. I'm getting chased by all these bozos trying to crack me in the noggin because they think I've got the disease, and I'm like, just got a bad nose. And if you could picture that, visualize me running across a field being chased by 60 normal guys, and I'm like, just a runny nose. There's a visual for you. So this is tricky because there's two different flanks on a bird. Hi, Riri. Welcome aboard. I think I started following your page. I think I did. I meant to. I hope I hit yes. Okay, so I'm working in the layers of these feathers and following the same underlying principle of what I established up here, just carrying it around to the sides of the bird. I did. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. That's great. So we started talking about if you're near a comic jam or an artistic jam of some kind that sort of suits towards whatever your form of creative expression is, give yourself a chance to go and attend and give it a try. They're a lot of fun. But we also talked about the topic I put up today for those that have joined in late. And that topic is stop looking for the perfect image, or this I can draw better, or it's because I had a conversation with somebody this week about show me some stuff, and every image that they showed me had a paragraph explanation about why it's not perfect. Stop looking for perfection and allow yourself to make things and move on and improve as you go. There's not much there though. Did I hear the clip you sent? I think I did. Which one was yours? Because I listened to it. I had a whole bunch of clips this weekend. I got caught up in them. I'll be honest. I came up with an anthem this week. Oh, that's great. That's great. I'll definitely take a moment to listen to that tonight. But I think that's what inspired me to find what would my anthem be. I'm pretty sure that, Riri. So I'm pretty sure I listened to your anthem. What it is, my moment by moment brain can't remember. I'm so sorry. But what would be an anthem song for me? And what I finally decided on is I'm Going Slightly Mad by Queen. This makes sense to me. Oh, yes, it was Daniel Hansen. Yep, I loved it. Yep. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's kind of weird that I say yes to Didi now that I have a friend named Didi. Okay, so as I'm putting down the feathers, I'm paying attention to those gaps, those spaces in there again. I talked a moment ago about how the bird's feathers work similar to shingles on your house, where they got to be spaced so that the water cascades over, right? Arg, arg. I like that song a lot. Always have liked that since it was released, and love Freddie Mercury's voice. But I just love singing along with that song for some reason. It's just hey, let's not fool ourselves. I'm already in. I already got to pay attention to who's around me when I'm doing whatever I'm doing, so that somebody doesn't show up with a nice white bus. Come on, get in the bag. Put on this sweater. That's not a sweater. Wink, wink. Me too. I'm screaming it while blasting in my car. That's the way to do it. If you got a favorite song, do your thing. Let it fuel your engine. I don't care who's in the car, too. If I'm singing along with something, I don't care. That's what I mean by whoop whoop, right? It's enjoy it. Celebrate life, man. Short enough. This falls into today's topic. Don't be hesitant about what you're putting out in the world, and don't allow yourself to constantly second guess yourself. Just live. If somebody looks at you and goes, "Ah, weirdo," they're not for you. It's not your people. Your people will look at you and go, "Yeah, I'll do wet air supply with you at random in the streets." Maybe. Yeah, so this takes time, but the birds come together okay, I think. I just got to make sure that I come in here with these side feathers. It's all I can do not to sing on this thing, on the stream. I'm going to be honest. I do that. I'll laugh along with comedy albums if I'm listening to them while I'm walking down the street. I don't care. I'll sing on my bike. I'm a whistler. Look out. Oh, God, I hate whistlers. Walking around, happy. Come on now. I'm back at my bulky art journal endeavor. I'm up for suggestions on how to make paper stiff. Lauren does it on her channel? Excellent. Excellent. Up for suggestions on how to make paper stiff. A couple of different ways, right? I'm a big proponent of putting different papers together, right? If you've already got your journal as a bulky endeavor to start with, then adding more materials and stuff to its surface isn't going to diminish that by any means, but at the very least it affords you the availability to play and try some new stuff, some new jazz. What are we at? An hour. So allow yourself that. Try Post-its. Try masking tape. I use those. Try overlaying tissue paper on your pages, because you get some super cool surface when you do tissue paper on your surface. If you've got a drawing and then you put a medium down with and lay tissue over top of it, okay, and then go back over the tissue paper and pull out and like re-emphasize some of those lines and stuff in your original drawing, you get some super cool and super fun effects in there. Not only do you have all that little crinkling and folding in the page, which is almost impossible to not have, you're also going to get cool little bubbles and disparities and in the surface. And at the same time, it's going to just allow you to get into some fun little second approaches to the same drawing, right? Try that. Give yourself free carte blanche to just whatever. Throw it all at the fan and see what sticks to the wall. Boy, that's bad advice. Don't throw things in a fan. You gotta be careful these days. Boy, oh boy, let me tell you. I'll glue the stuff to itself. Yeah. I'm gonna try glue. It's paper from an Amazon purchase. I love the packing paper, but need it stiffer. Well, yeah, just take the packing paper and put it inside your pages. Put it inside your art journal. Trim it down. If you've got a paper chopper, then give it a go. Whack it down a little bit and adhere it to the pages inside the journal. That's kind of a fun thing. Just getting these tail feathers in here, laying those down. Like right now. Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Do it. Can't tack, got to glue. The pin feathers. I looked in how birds' feathers and wings work because I read a comic book when I was a kid. where somebody yanked the pin feathers out of a guy who had wings and he couldn't fly anymore. And that's not how that works. That worked for the superhero comic book logic. Still watching. Yeah. Well, yeah, I love it when people are working and watching. There's never a moment where I'm watching another person's stream where I'm not doing something as well. So that's sometimes people say, hey, Chris, blah, blah, blah. And it'll take me a minute to respond because I'm not paying enough attention. Sure, it doesn't mean you don't stop and look for a few minutes, but stuff to do, stuff to do, stuff to do. So this line that I've left in here in the gap, okay, coupled with this break in the pattern up here, hopefully lets the person viewing that understand that there's a seam, a fold in the back. And I can do that a little bit more by a couple little rough punches of value to this side here, and it just overemphasizes that, right? So now it pulls that up a little bit. I don't know. Hopefully it's picking up. Like I said earlier, one of my cameras fizzled out today, so I got to figure something out. But we got it sorted. All this camera jazz, all this equipment costs money. It's all overhead, right? Gotta count it, gotta calculate it in. Okay, so with knowing that this panel is meant to end here, sort of, I'll just do this a little bit. This is just a little way of saying, all right, wrap it up, Jack. That's enough of your doo-dah doodly-doo. Oh, okay. So yeah, that was a fun suggestion that Josh gave a few minutes ago, and I put that into the book. Where's that? There he is. So I'm putting this as a blue that I'm putting in with the brown here, and wherever I do that, it sort of mutes itself out into like a nice charcoal. You know, you still catch the values of both the blue and the brown, but it's got a little more depth, a little more soul to the color than if I was to just use a dark gray or a black. Both of which work. No right, no wrong way. This is just how I tend to like to go about it. Ever since I started doing this when I was younger, I just stuck with it. You know, black pencil crayons were always the thing that, tended to disappear first, right? And getting the underbody of the bird and carrying those values that are in the wings and the upper body just still keeps your image tied together. So we got at least the first two panels here done today. Okay, so now I'm going to come in the neck up here and get another little round of marks in the old bird here. If I'm missing stuff, I apologize. No, we're okay. Curious what anybody else is working on? Love to hear it. Josh, you got some more streaming ahead of you planned? If it's not as late as it was last night, let me know if you want to jibber jabber while you're doing it. I'm up for that. Josh is one of those guys that, what a treat it is to chat with him. He's got we have a very similar mentality, and both of us we got a lot of similarities. It's a spectrum and everything else. And it's kind of nice to be able to chat with other people. Same journey that you are, with a lot of the same similar life beats. So it's deepening up a little bit now as I'm coming in with more layers, right? But it's still, when I put this light gray in there, it'll just start to punch some of those values too. If you get a chance, for anybody that's here, take a look at Josh's work, as well as Riri's. I know that the page I just started following, like you said, it's not got much on it. This guy has some good, fun stuff. And I'm really excited to see what's going on in this journal. Okay, so I've got a deep purple here. Deep purple. And I'm going to throw a little bit of that in there as like an emphasis color on some of the details in the bird's face, and pull out some of that stuff. Carry that into the body of the bird. Or is this the brown? This is just the brown. That's the deep purple. Boy, when my looks go. That's all right. It worked anyways. So that's just some fun, just to give a little more value, a little more push and pull of color as we turn around this giant Canadian deck, and it's not a deck, and get some of that fun stuff in there. Now I need a green. What are you gonna need a green for, Chris? Now just hold on. I'm gonna find one. Are you green? Yeah, I'm green. Does he really talk to himself that much? Yeah, he does. Oh, there you go. We found you. You were hiding, but we found you. So I still haven't quite figured out how to use this sharpener eraser yet. Like I've told everybody before, it's got this cool case on the eraser like that, so it keeps it safe. And, but every time we try to erase with it, it's just nothing. I'm gonna run this joke into the ground. Okay. Yeah, deep purple. Yeah. I'm actually listening to Frankenstein by Marcus Miller. Dun, 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 dun. Such a great song. So I'm just putting in some of the background for the grass here. So Josh has a fun question. Anybody else feel free to jump in on this one. What are your favorite bands? My favorite bands when I was a teenager were Led Zeppelin, Velvet Underground, and Yes. Those were my big three as a teenager, which I realize is, a little ridiculous. But I was also a big fan of the music of the day, like I liked Depeche Mode and New Order and all of that as well. But when I came to rock and roll, and I liked Sabbath, early Sabbath though. I got dialed into Sabbath as Ozzy had left, and it was Dio, and I can't stand it with Dio in the band. I can't stand that guy's songs. The music, yeah, but I just can't stand him. It's funny that, like I love the Doors, but I really like my favorite Doors album is the one that's just primarily music with some poetry. Josh says my top 5 as of today. If I go through my album, my list and my phone, then that's a terrifying question. I've got a lot of Zeppelin. I've got a lot of. I've got all of Zeppelin. I got all of Modest Mouse. I got all of OK Go. I don't know if they're my favorite rock bands, but I've got Boston. I've got April Wine. I don't know. That's a tough one. I like Prozac. Ooh, 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 ooh. Isn't that Prozac? Ooh, 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 ooh. I think there's something else. Okay, let's see. Top favorite rock bands today. I really, I don't know. It's tough. Rock is tough. Like, what do you categorize as rock though? Like, are we talking heavy metal? Are we talking rock? Because if it's rock, there's certain things that I've got all the albums of that I really enjoy. I don't know if they're rock or not. Like Radiohead, I have every Radiohead album that I can find. I've coincidentally also got every Gorillaz album, but I would definitely not say they're one of my favorite, that I listen to every song. I like the front bottoms. Can I admit that? Does anybody know the front bottoms? If you don't, please check them out. This is an incredible band. Yeah, there's two. Their first two albums are the front bottoms, and yeah, it is the name it sounds like. The first two albums are the front bottoms and Talent of the Hawk. But their lyrics they're hilarious. They're fantastic. And but I don't know if they're like they're not that rock at all. But again, bearing in mind, one of my favorite rock bands is the Velvet Underground, and I don't know how rock they are. So favorite of today, yeah. See, I don't know if Radiohead counts as rock. I don't know if front bottoms count as rock. I know Fuzz does. Check out Fuzz if you haven't listened to him. I'll write some of these down for you. Front bottoms. It's going to be a fun page. Front bottoms. Fuzz. I like Anderson .Paak. He's not rock at all. So I'm just doing the darker value of building up the grass background for this scene. Again, this is one of those things where, like, you put in this effort when you're drawing pencil crayon. The reason that I draw the whole image, and I learned this lesson the hard way when I was a younger guy. If you don't draw the whole image, if you leave spaces that aren't there, right? You're gonna have problems when you're doing your word balloons and your placements of them. You're always gonna have problems with that. You're stuck and you're locked into this is where things go because I didn't draw it behind them. And if you edit your text and your balloon changes size at all, now what are you gonna do? So try not to do that to yourself. Draw the whole image. It's a mistake we all make. Spooky Reuben had fun lyrics. Yeah, definitely. Spooky Reuben, that makes me think of Spoon. That's another great one. Spoon, he's got some great lyrics. And of course, the Flight of the Conchords. Now, there's some good lyrics, but they're not rock. There's a little bit of rap in there, though. The Hip Hop Eponymous and the Rhinoceros. But yeah, check out this band. These guys are insane. And there's Fugazi. All of their albums. All of George Carlin's albums. I got a lot of records on here. Looking for modern stuff. Lately I'm really liking the Hives. I don't know. That's some good gritty nitty gritty rock. I like the Hives and I like OK Go for the same reasons. That's just rock as fun. And yeah, the Hives. And who else did I say? OK Go. OK Go. You got the best videos. And I got a lot of Interpol, but that's kind of a mood thing. One of my favorite heavy acts will always be No Means No. Um, there's a song called "The Day Everything Became Nothing," and that's just yeah. And there's another song called "Sex Mad," Sex Mad. That's yeah, good songs. So I'm just putting in little different texture hits here, little shadow bits with the grass, just to keep it interesting as it moves about. Just trying to make sure that enough differentiation in the marks I'm putting down that it doesn't look like an AI developed grass pattern. So, and then leaving a rough sense of where the panel ends here on the side as well. I could put the lines down, sure, but knowing that I always feel like I need to do that. Yeah, spooky rooms. Who was I listening to the other day? I was listening to Captain John. Well, stand out the corner. Yeah, it's one of those guys. There's a funny lyric in the front bottoms where he says, "One day you'll be washing yourself with hand soap in a public bathroom." That is possibly one of the meanest things you could say to a person. Like, that is just so, just terribly dismissive. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. That's a really tough question you asked me. I'm not good at top 5 lists like other people are. I easily do one. I really can't, because I am so all over the place in general. Like, I listen to a lot of classical music in my house. And like when I say classical music, I mean, you know, Wagner, Brahms, Beethoven, Mozart, not a lot of Beethoven, but like Berlioz a lot, and I know it's a little nerdy guy. How did I get here? Where the hell am I? Yeah, if there's an album that anybody that's tuned in today wants to check out, please check out the front bottoms. Just get past their name. That's all. We had to do it when the Canadians started to celebrate the talent of the Bare Naked Ladies. Like a lot of childish name bands. But then again, on Saturday I did a page called Fart Joke. So, you know, you get what you're getting here. So this rather abstract approach to drawing grass is over time it starts to develop into some kind of recognizable green field background, or at least our human brains will try to fill that in as such. Yeah. I wanted to try some pencil crayon today. This morning I finished the humans page and posted it, and then I immediately drew a mixed medium page with pen ink wash and just a real black and white sucker. And so I'm like, I gotta do some color this afternoon. Joshua says, I'm awful at those lists, but fun answers. Yeah, I'd love to hear some of your, what's your top 5, Josh? See, because now I'm going Flaming Lamps. Like, I got all these other bands cocking, like, just maybe through my head right now. It's like, then you start to overthink it all. Yeah, I'd be keen to hear other people's. Malcolm has put forward Spooky Reuben. That's a good one. Prozac. Of course, being me, I know they're a big hit. I like Rufus Wainwright. It's got some great stuff. Jeff Buckley was incredible. Rufus Wainwright's good. Loudon Wainwright was good too. I like Nick Drake. I like a lot of overly emotional guitar guys, piano guys. I finally started to be able to appreciate the Smiths lately. Couldn't stand the Smiths when I was my teens and they're really popular. I'm like, God, they're awful. Panic on the streets of London. Yeah, it just drove me nuts. No, I like that song, but that's probably because of fond reminiscence. Kasabian. I'm huge into Kasabian. Love that. I'm going to have to put them in. But again, I don't know that is necessarily rock. If you don't know Kasabian, I'll write it down. Kasabian. There you go. Kasabian is super cool, super fun. I got all these friends that are like huge into that kind of a period of music where you've got a lot of that Manchester groups coming out. And I've never heard of it, Kasabian. I just don't get that. Uh-oh. Gary Hodges, everybody. Behave yourselves. Hi, Gary. How was your weekend? Fun stream this weekend, Gary. Okay, so I'm pretty good with this. So the idea is do geese, what's the title of today's thing? Do geese see God is going to be over top of these birds, or maybe not. Maybe I'll put it over top of here and just leave nothing on this panel, other maybe a little piece of text that says a question. And then we can start to build this page up from a perspective of trying to understand if maybe they do, maybe they don't. I do know an idea of how I want to finish this page, though. I have an idea of how I want that to finish, and it's going to be violent. Violent. Terribly violent. All right, let me get some panels. Photos on this sucker. Yeah, if you like, I don't know, whatever you like, try the front bottoms. Give them a shot. There's a lot of Canadian bands like, I can't think of any names immediately. There's a lot, Rural Alberta Advantage. there's a lot of different kind of bands like that they got something going on there. There's a whole unique, weird prairie sound that goes on here in Canada that has a lot of lyrics over top of the sort of cascading sort of sound. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not doing any justice to it. Listen to some. Hiya, Chris. I have an exam, so I cannot say. See you on Wednesday. Yep, see you on Wednesday, Chris. This is really exciting. Thank you. Yep, an exam right now. Everybody pay attention in class and stay off your phones. I know she's not doing that. Focus on your chest, please. That's what I'd do. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up on this page, or this panel. And, okay, so those that don't know, I'll be doing a talk with, Chris is going to be tuning in with students on Wednesday. And so we'll be talking about some fun things. We'll be talking about daily creativity, like creativity in your daily life, and see some different perspective on that. I could do a quick jibber jabber about what I do, and it'll be fun. Everybody's welcome to come and join in, please. It's the same time as we normally do. All right, so just getting a little bit of contour to this cat and putting in a completely random color just to put a little bit of that texture into the grass. And then off we go with the next panel. What time we got? 1:27. Well, we'll wrap up in a few minutes. Let's get the next one laid out. How's that? So I like the idea of, when we're doing a page, there's a number of different ways that you can approach it. You can approach it as a dialogue where people are talking to one another. You can have an action dialogue. You can have all kinds of stuff like that going on. But the reality is really that it's up to you what choice you go with, what voice you do, what person it's written in, and or if you want to do it as a narrative or an editorial, if you want to, all those different options. Allow them to just allow the page to find its voice, is what I'm saying. This is a narrative from my own headspace. It's more conversing about my ideas. No, it's too late. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to, at the same time, I'm dealing with working out some arrangements with my daughter about tonight's comic jam. So if you are in the London, Ontario area of Canada, or if I don't know if you can drive here, and you got 2.5 hours from wherever you are, and stay up at my house. We're having a comic jam tonight, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I spoke about this at the start of the stream, and I'm going to advocate it again. If you can find yourself an opportunity to sit down with other creators and jam on some pages together, not sit beside each other and draw your own pages, just spend a couple of hours of jamming some pages together. Somebody draws one panel and slides it over to you, and you got to draw the next one. Same thing around the table, right? You would be amazed about what that can do for opening you up to all kinds of ideas and stuff. It's one of the things that I do on a monthly basis, and I really enjoy it, and I find it may be this, between that and the one pages, is the thing that's responsible for my brain rotating like that. Philip says, I wish they had that when I lived here 10 or 10 years ago. We were doing it 10 years ago. We were doing it 20 years ago. Yeah, so this is something that I've been involved with one group or another. The one that I've been running is going for 7 years, and now, but well, we did 5 years before COVID, and then it's been already at least a year since those restrictions were lifted. So I think, but before that, there was another group. We used to meet at Fox and Fiddle in the gym for years. So, yeah, it's a really healthy thing to do. Give it a try if you've got anything like that going on in wherever you are. And if you haven't, maybe put one together. And it's a real benefit. It's a real benefit to be able to find that availability of others to share ideas with and to talk about whatever it is that you're working on in your normal processes and see what their perspective on that is, and maybe they've got some insights for you. And who knows? Who knows? It could be a real benefit. The comic jam, really? I figured I was pretty involved in the London community. Well, London's got a ridiculously stupid art community of a lot of divergent groups. There is so much disconnect in this London art community. I can't even begin to start about it. But you're going to find that everywhere. You got your intelligentsia groups, you got your real creatives, you got your Riverwalks creatives, you got your industrial creatives, you got your clique little niche groups, and there's no such thing as a whole community. And this time, London's really different in economics too, so it's a lot of exclusionary nonsense. All right. So, okay, so we got this laid down. Now, so the next idea is to have just another examples of actions of geese. I don't want to get lockstepped into just drawing geese beside each other throughout the whole thing. I really want to push the narrative about environment and space and foreground, background, and that sort of jazz. And just sort of play around with where they are and what they're doing. And, at some point, I got to have the geese's head stuck in the water, the fun stuff, right? And asking all these existential questions. What are we at? 132. Okay. It's 3:30. Yeah. All right. So so that's my plan is to the next let me see if I find something wackadoo. I just scanning through all these little tiny thumbnails of geese pictures. I gotta have a goose chasing somebody on a sidewalk because why would you not, right? So I think that I'll just rough this in fast, and the next goose I'm gonna draw is gonna be and get a goose who's in the water as this is that motion that geese will do as they're, I don't know if you've ever sat down and watched waterfowl wherever you are, but there's this sort of motion that they'll do where when they're in the water, they'll sit down and they'll do this flaring themselves out and then shivering themselves down. I always get a kick out of that when you're at the park and you see them, just that inflation of their own body, and it's to fill their feathers up, right, with, I don't know if it's air or however it is, they keep, like, they get something in the spaces there. Birds are weird. There we go. So I'm just putting in the rough shape for their wings. So this one is going to be I'm going to have this guy floating in the water, and just a change of the environment, and have him flaring out with his wings and building his chest out. So I get to do all that, little fluffed up plumage in the foreground. So that's good. Yeah, so I'm feeling good about where this is going. So I'll have this sucker done and posted for tomorrow. And during tomorrow's jam, I'm excited about something I've got on a project intended that I'm going to utilize a bunch of things I got in the mail in the page that I'm doing tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be really mixed media. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope people don't mind that kind of thing. But we're going to get really abstract and go for it. So, explore alternatives and options that, we'll see what we come up with. Yeah, that feels better. Boy, oh boy, I had this bird 6 times the size of chest that I should have had. Here we go. I tend not to draw volume pictures like this. I tend to draw from one side to the other. And the reason for that is that I find that it's always kind of a little bit forced for me when I come at it this way. Is it faster? You bet it is. But, it's just you get into the process of how you work and stay with that. Add in things and incorporate other elements into your working processes. But when you find you have a comfort zone for how things work for you, go for it. Lean in. Trying to get some of that texture into the wing as I go, and I get to build that through the whole shape of the bird, and some of this fun little bits of plumage that sit up here on its chest and are pushing out in this way, and it's sort of cast shadowing. I love it. It's all those parts and things and bibs and bobs that all work together and make up whatever it is that we're drawing. The complexity of one thing to the next thing, there's really no differences. Drawing a car, drawing a bird, drawing a horse, drawing a tree, drawing a skyscraper, it's all just things and shapes. And if we can let go of whatever the preconceived notion that we have and just look at them as the things, the objects, I think that might make it easier for some people. And those hurdles, those big objective challenges that you couldn't do before, you're overly worried about the preciousness of the image and the finish of the thing, it goes away. It goes away. And it becomes more about, today I'm going to draw a dude juggling chainsaws. Why not? All those things will come together, and over time, it'll stop feeling like an objective hurdle to try to draw this thing or that thing. It'll just be another thing that you might not have drawn before. Horses. Ooh. Everybody's felt that way at some point. We all have our own level of anxiety and neuroses about stuff. It's getting over it. Getting outside your little head bubble. And those things that we tell ourselves sitting naysaying ourselves or downsaying ourselves because we're sitting there on our space on our own a lot, not getting out into the world and looking at things and trying things, and it just takes time, right? We'll all get it. We'll figure it all out. But in the meantime, make a lot of bad images. Make a lot of bad pictures. Let's celebrate them, because there's going to be one that you do in the future that's, you'll see the growth and you'll feel the growth and you'll be like, yeah, it's crazy. It's just what it is. So, but nobody talks you out of doing whatever you're going to do more than you. Nobody talks to you into whatever strange notions you might have better than you as well. But I find it's easier to fall into things and, have these assertions about how, things are. It's just far easier to fall into than to seeing that you can grow and to seeing that you can develop more in there. I don't know. That's the conversation that I try to convince myself with. See, doing it as well, in order to sort of get myself to figure out, how do I draw this thing now? If you got a thing that you look at and go, I cannot draw that, take it off. Is it going to be perfect? Are you the perfect image that you're seeking? No. But that's the gift. And I say it's a gift because that's the thing that separates you from the other kids in the schoolyard, is that, well, I'll try it again. And I'm not talking about sit there and go through reams of paper trying to draw the same stupid thing over and over again to get better at it. Some people do that and it works for them. And if that's how it works for you, good. You do you. But you can also just accept that it's not good, that it's not what you wanted it to be, and approach it again later, or come at it completely different, or take it apart and do it a different way. Just draw it in a really reduced primitive way, or really simple, couple of simple lines and weird shapes to try to abstract it and take it apart, and eventually you're going to have an understanding of whatever it is that you're drawing enough that you're going to have a comfort in how you draw. But in the meantime, don't drive yourself, and you may not consciously be realizing you're driving others crazy around you with the woulda, shoulda, couldas, and well. So I think that if we can all do that creatively, boy, oh boy. Okay, I got a random thought before we go. Do you think in the future, because so many people here are so far away, do you think in the future that it will be possible to have online art shows and galleries where somebody in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and somebody in I can't even think of names of places right now. What's this? It's a duck. It's a 6-foot duck. Ready? More! Do you think it's possible in the future for there to be art shows? And I mean art shows, traditional installation shows, that each month that this place has these works on display for people to come and see. Copyright protected, image protected, watermarked, whatever those expressions are. And or is it being done now and I just don't know about them? Do you think that those situations are out there or will be out there? That's my random question for today. Also, what are your current top favorite, rock and roll bands? Doesn't mean you have to be a current band, but what are your current favorites? Gary says, I think it's possible, but it would have to be highly curated to make it not an overwhelming number of artists and pieces. Yeah, very good. Very astute observation. That's true. It could easily get out of hand. An online art show featuring 5,000 artists isn't good for anyone. Oh, for heaven's sakes, yes. And it needs to be done first, too, right? So yesterday I was in WM, I don't know what that is, and looking in the fishing stuff, and they had worms, red worms, which are called bloodworms, that are actually these leeches. The guy standing next to me says, now where's the rest of the joke? Yeah, and curated from, is it a certain kind of works? Is it, it has to be, no AI generated? Is it, no performance poetry videos? Like, just like, how do you, that's where it starts becoming cheeky. And then this exhibition this month and next exhibition, it's sort of like, can you highlight 8 artists this month and then highlight 8 artists next month and highlight 8 artists and perpetuate that in such a way as that you have enough regular viewers and you have enough. It probably have to be a weekly thing when you think about it, but for it to work, and ostensibly how a gallery works today, but in the virtual format, right? That's the part that I'm wondering, when's that going to really start happening, unless people already know. And we're not even making our own worms. Look, Canadian earthworms, we're importing them from Canada. I wouldn't even have the heart to tell them that it's a species name. Thank you, Riri. Hi, gang. Hi, Paul. Pantless Paul. Old Bobby Fett here says, art is dead. AI is where it's at. Riri, that was a great joke. Sad but true. Well, there's a fantastic joke in the suggestion for this page. This page's suggestion is, do geese see God? Okay? And the person that suggested it their name is a misspelled palindrome. What's happening? Oh, I'm getting a call in, gang. I'm going to, just give me a second, please. Yeah, okay. I got to call that back. All right. I'm going to have to wrap up for today. Sorry, everybody. Gary, what it is, though. I apologize, everyone. I got to take off. Listen, tomorrow I'll be here at 2 o'clock as usual. I'm going to be sticking around later on than I normally do tomorrow. Well, but it'll be a longer stream. Today I got to run it short because I got to go and set up the London Comic Jam. I've talked, if you watch the video, I've talked about if you have a local jam near you, please do check it out and get involved in whatever kind of artistic pursuit it is. You'd be surprised by how much I can help you grow, and how much more I can give you comfort and allow you outside of your comfort zone that you're sort of might be nestled in now, and to take on things and to draw things outside of what you normally do. So, do geese see God? So here's a fun thing for today's page. I want you to write down the title, Do Geese See God? And then reverse it. Okay? That's our fun little thing today. In the meantime, I'm going to sign off. I hope you're still creating and doing whatever it is you're doing. I look forward to seeing it. But I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.